I know the person who knows the answer. We're joined by our environment correspondent, Naveen Singh Khadka. Before we talk about the possible introduction of beavers into areas where they're not normally around, just where are they getting it right and what are they doing it to restore these wetlands?
So you see, what they've done basically is, this is normally in North America, Canada, and many states in the US, and also some parts in Europe, Central and Northern Europe. And then, of course, some parts of Russia, and then also we talk about Mongolia, some parts of China as well. So what they did was, when we talk about Europe and North America, so these were the places where these animals used to live naturally many, many years ago, many, many centuries ago, in fact. And because of this hunting, they were nearly eliminated, and so the animals were gone. And with them, wetlands were gone as well. But then they realized that this species can do wonder, and they brought them back. And as a result, the dam building, blocking the rivers, streams, and then that kind of fills the entire landscape. So wetlands were coming back. So this was in North America, Canada, and so many states, because they had lost many of those animals by 19th century. And then Europe also kind of replicated that idea. And then they saw that all these wetlands were coming back, and not just wetlands. With that, so many species, frogs, fish, invertebrates, and that brought back, otters, weasels, and then birds. So the entire biodiversity were coming back. So this is why there have been several studies. This is why they are saying that this perhaps can be introduced in many places, but then we need to make sure that these were actually natural habitats. And there are other predator species who can balance that. Otherwise, there's a downside of the story.
Oh, well, but we'll get on to the downside, but just in terms of, it's not just the North American areas. There are other areas in the world where wetlands are being massively reduced, but beavers are not native animals. So touch upon the negative aspect of introducing these creatures there.
So see, for example, Latin America, countries like Argentina, Chile, they took those animals there not to restore wetlands. It was, if you remember, many, many years ago, there was this massive industry. It was called brown gold, the pelt of beaver. This was a massive industry, and that's why they took them there. But then what happened was, because they had no predators there, the animals boomed, the population boomed, and they ended up eating up entire forests. That was the disaster. So that's why scientists warn that we need to be careful. Where are we doing this? And perhaps we can do some mimicry, do what beavers do without introducing the animals in so many other parts of the world.
And just in terms of, and Naveen, we've only got a minute or so left, but the wetlands that are remaining, particularly in dryland areas, what's happening to them?
So you see, for example, countries like, regions like Africa or Latin America or Caribbean, what they're saying is they're already, because of agriculture expansion, urban expansion, they were already in trouble, but now climate change, droughts are eating up, and those wetlands are precious. They used to slowly release water during dry period, and now because of droughts, these are under tremendous pressure and they are losing it out. And that is why wetlands are simply shrinking and vanishing.
So even with the best of the work by those little creatures, the beavers, it's really important to just be aware that those wetlands are disappearing. A third of the wetlands lost in the last 50 years. Thank you, Naveen Singh Khadka, our environment correspondent, for bringing it to us.